Welcome to Zoom for Teaching. I'm Lucy Walski, and like you, I use Zoom. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the ways that you can use Zoom for your remote class. So let's just start with the toolbar. Down here, you can see your toolbar, and anytime the window gets minimized, your toolbar is going to change. And that brings us to the first rule of Zoom, which is it looks different for everyone. So it's very hard sometimes to troubleshoot or to orient each other. So we're going to use the words from the toolbar, more, reaction, share screen, participants, security, and we're going to go through one by one and figure out what they do. So the first thing that I want to point out is this security. From here, you can lock your meeting so that no one else can enter. You can turn on or off the waiting room, and it's as simple as toggling it on or off. You can hide your profile picture or enable your profile picture. And then you can also control what your participants or students are able to do in the meeting. They can share their screen or not. So you might want to keep that on if you're planning on doing student presentations or inviting students to help you troubleshoot or work through problems together or whatever. Again, you can turn off their ability to chat, their ability to rename themselves, their ability to unmute themselves, and their ability to start video. And finally, you can suspend all activities with just one click and then confirm, suspend. So hopefully you never have to do that. I also want to show you this participants window. I often turn this one on so you'll have a list of everyone who's in your meeting. If you hover over their name, you'll also have some choices. So in my case, I'm able to rename myself or edit my profile picture, as well as unmute. I want to draw your attention down here to the bottom. You can click on invite to get the, quickly get the meeting invitation if you need to quickly, email it to someone. You can do the same thing from over here. You can copy the link, paste it, share it quickly. You can mute everyone all at once with a touch of a button. Very helpful for large classes with a lot of people talking. And then this options menu here. You have more options from participants. My favorite one to put on is play sound when someone joins or leaves. By clicking that, it'll go ding anytime somebody joins your meeting, which is very nice. Other options you have are repeats from that security menu, which is turning the waiting room on or off, locking the meeting, allowing participants to rename themselves, unmute themselves, making sure everyone's muted when they enter, or requesting that everyone unmute. So let's go right next to participants, which is share screen. So here, if you click on the arrow next to share screen, you've got a couple of sharing options, which is only one at a time. That's pretty typical. Or you can allow multiple people to share simultaneously. So it's up to you. When you do go to share your screen, it'll give you a long list of everything that you have open, plus additional features like the built-in whiteboard or directions for connecting your iPad. So you can, I have two screens set up. Some people have one, some people have three. So if you share your whole screen, anytime you drag an application to that window, your participants will be able to see it, which is a plus. So you can change back and forth between applications or browsers or tabs. The downside is if you get any alerts, any emails, everyone that you're sharing with will see that. So some instructors choose to share by just this application, which is a Google Chrome tab. So that's what I'm going to do. But before I hit share, I want to draw your attention to advanced sharing options, where you can share just a part of your screen, just your computer audio. Maybe you want to play background music. Maybe you want to mostly share a podcast, I guess, but mostly background music, a video or content from a second camera. And you're also able to share files during a meeting as long as they're in one of these applications: OneDrive, Google Drive, Box, Dropbox, or SharePoint. So back to sharing this Google tab. As soon as I hit share, changes my screen, and it will change the screen of your participants as well. So my toolbar is no longer at the bottom, it's now at the top. and I can share my screen. And when I'm done, I can hover over to do a new share, which will let me switch, or I can click stop share. So that's how you would share, and that's how your participants or guest speakers or guest lecturers would share. Allow me to show you the whiteboard feature, which will literally create a whiteboard, as well as annotation tools. So these annotation tools are things that you can do to put your arrow next to, shine your cursor over, add stamps. You can have draw tools with free drawings as well as shapes. So you can like select areas or scribble. You can add text. You can change the color of your text. You can erase. You can undo, redo, clear everything. And you can even save the whiteboard to a file, either a PDF or a PNG image file. Reactions is fun. This is a way that participants can communicate non-verbally by adding one of these emoji icons to represent joy, thumbs up, clapping, surprise, hearts, ta-da. And then they can also signal you yes or no, or slow down or speed up. And they can also raise their hand. This might be a feature you encourage students to use this if they do have a question. And what it will do is it'll put that student in the top left corner. So anyone who has their hands raised gets moved in the gallery view. We can't demonstrate it here because I'm the only one in this meeting. So that's reactions. Let's go to more. Chat, you're probably familiar with. I'm going to go ahead and close this participants window, and this is the chat window. One thing you can do with the chat is when you click on this more button, you can be able to control who your students can chat with. You could turn it on to no one. If you want your students to focus on you for the whole course duration, you can just quickly make it so that they can chat with no one. You can make it chat with you only, that would be host only, everyone publicly, or everyone publicly and directly. So if there were more people in this meeting, I could change this drop-down menu from everyone to a specific user. Just be careful with that if you're sending private messages, because then when you go to type again to everyone, it might just be going to private, or you might have intended a private message that goes to everyone. So just check this to field here of who you're sending it to. And then you would type your message and then hit enter. And there's no real emojis to use, so I recommend Emojipedia. And what you can do is you can copy an emoji, paste it. Oh, that one didn't work. Let's try smiley face. That should work. There we go. And then hit enter. Now, once you actually have a chat log, you can click here and save the chat. And what it will do is it'll go to a folder under Documents, under Zoom. And it'll have the meeting date and meeting name, and it'll be called savechat.txt. And it's a very messy file, but a lot of people do use that to take attendance or take, low-tech polls. So that is a feature in the chat. Just remember to do it. Sometimes you end the meeting before doing that. You can also have recording of the meeting, either directly to the computer, which we don't recommend because these videos do take up a lot of space, or to the cloud, which we do recommend for both space and also for the features that the recording to the cloud gives you, such as automatic closed captioning, records of the chat. The only downside is it doesn't stay there forever. You would have to archive it by downloading it and just putting it somewhere else, maybe Ensemble, maybe YouTube, maybe Dropbox, maybe Google Drive. But it will only stay in the cloud for about 120 days or so. So this is what I recommend. And once you hit that, you'll get this little icon over here that says it's recording. So I'm just going to continue. And then you can pause the recordings to take, questions that shouldn't be shared with everyone, resume, and then when you're done, you can hit stop. It'll confirm, did you really want to stop the cloud recording? And then you hit yes. And it won't do anything until you've finished your meeting. So once you finish the meeting, you'll get an email that the recording is ready. What else is under more? We got polls and breakout rooms. So if this window were larger, and let's go ahead and make it larger by getting rid of the chat. There we go. There we go. So here, they actually have icons. Polls has a little icon, and breakout rooms has a little icon. So when you click on polls, it will know that if you had created polls in advance. And in this case, I have. I created a what's your favorite color poll. So you can preview it, and when you're ready to launch it, you'll click launch. And you will need to launch it in order for your participants to answer the poll. So it'll have a little count up timer here, so you know how long it's up. So you could make a statement like, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to answer this poll. It will tell you how many people have voted and a percentage out of your participants. And then when you're done, you hit end polling. You'll be able to see the results, and then you'll have the option to share the results with everyone else, which is what I'm doing now. So basically, I'm broadcasting these results to everyone. If you need to do the poll again, you can relaunch the same poll. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing results and X out of that. And then the last thing on the toolbar are these breakout rooms. So clicking on breakout rooms, you'll have a choice between automatic or manually. Unless you have a reason to do it manually, I recommend automatically. And it'll let you pick how many breakout rooms and how many people per room. Again, there's nobody to play around with here. So it's a good idea to do a practice round beforehand. So let's say I wanted to create one breakout room, assign automatically, and then I hit create. And here's where I could rename the room. Maybe instead of room 1, I could call it group 1 or table 1, whatever you want to do. Maybe you've created breakout rooms by topic. You can create the room name to be the topic. And then you can assign people. Once you have people, you're able to easily drag and drop and assign people. You can add additional rooms from here. You can click on options for more options. This one is new. This one allows participants to choose the room they go into. This one allows them to return to the main session at any time. This one will automatically move the people into the breakout rooms. It doesn't require them to hit join. It will automatically move them. Here you can set a timer. Say we're going to spend 10 minutes and we're going to be discussing the reading. And then you can have it notify you when time is up. And then this one is fun too. So after you've closed the breakout rooms, your participants will be in their breakout room with their group, and they'll get a little alert that says, breakout room closing in 10, 9, 8. And you can customize when that starts. So the default, I believe, is a minute, and maybe you don't need that much time. Once you're done, you hit open all rooms, and then you will stay in the main room as the host, but you're able to join any one of these breakout rooms. You're also able to broadcast a message to all. You have 10 minutes to answer the 3 prompts with your group. And that will alert everyone, even though they're not in the same room, they all have the same direction. So let's say you as the instructor want to join breakout room 1. You can do that. It'll have a little transition screen. Now here I am in breakout room 1. So the chat feature in the breakout rooms are unique. So I don't think it'll go to everyone. I think it will just go to the breakout room. Again, it's hard to test because I'm the only one in this meeting. So in my breakout room, I've got a little countdown timer because I had set the option of 10 minutes. And then I have an option to leave room. I also have the option, well, I'm still host, so I will see things differently than your students. So I'm going to leave the room. Now, as host, I have the options in meeting for all, in meeting, or in the break, just leave the breakout room. Just want to leave the breakout room. So if you're recording, don't believe it records what's going on in the breakout rooms. It only records what's going on in the main room. All right, we covered everything on this toolbar, except for live transcript. Let's see what that does. Okay, a live transcript is an option where if you had somebody who would be typing as you talk, they could do that. It's hard work, so I wouldn't treat that lightly. But if you do need a note taker, you can assign a student or staff or somebody who can do that for you to type live caption what you say. And if you do that, I also recommend that you have another note taker so that that person will get those notes from the class. In case that person was so focused on typing and missed out on that class, that's not fair. So, in live transcription. Okay, well, let me do that without having to enter any payments. So, before I let you go, and I know I've been talking at you for a long time, I wanted to show you the browser version. It's anselm.zoom.us. So you do need the browser version in order to adjust your settings. So what I'll do is I'll go to anselm.zoom.us and I'll click sign in. If I hadn't already signed in, I would be prompted with my email and password. But here's what I want to show you. Just the one thing is the settings. There are tons and tons of settings. Like, look at this scroll bar. What I've found is if you are missing a feature that you're looking for, the best thing you can do is go to settings, do Control F, and search for what you're looking for. Right here. So this will either enable or disable that polls option. Let's look at breakout rooms. Here we go. This will either enable or disable that breakout rooms section. So I think that's good to know. And there's even settings within the subsets of this page. So on recordings, there's recording settings. I know, if you need any help, let us know. We've done this enough that we know a little bit about these settings. So my recording settings is, here's what, this page isn't as long, but let's say I'm looking for transcripts or captioning. I'll do Control F, no caption. Here we go, audio transcript. Make sure that button is checked, because what that will do is it will automatically transcribe the audio of your meeting if you record it to the cloud, which is recommended. So here's what that would look like. Here's one of my recordings. And if I click it, I'll have the audio transcript right here on the side, which is very useful for accessibility for anyone who missed your class and wants to rewatch the content. As you can tell, I can go on and on about these settings, setting up meetings, what to do with your recordings, how to pull reports. When you're ready to end your meeting, you can click on End, and as the host, it'll give you two choices. Do you want to end it for all, or do you just want to leave the meeting? If you want your students to continue having conversations after you're gone, you'll hit Leave. And if you want to close that down, end the meeting, class is over, you're dismissed, you'll want to hit End Meeting for All. That's it in a nutshell. Thank you so much for watching. I encourage you to try it out. You can't break it. As you can see, you can be in an empty Zoom room, play around with all the controls, and the more you practice, the better you get. Thanks for watching.